Hello and welcome to the Formation Lap podcast with myself, Matt, and my friend Lucy.
Hello. We need an intro jingle. Like a really silly jingle.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
welcome back to the Formation Lab. It's Matt and Lucy here to talk F1. Oh,
There you go. I'm clipping that.
stupid like
I'm clipping that. We're using that next week.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
That was straight off the dome there.
Yeah, perfect. Absolutely perfect. So, Singapore Grand Prix. I forget the name of the actual circuit here, but another street
Marina
circuit.
Bay.
Marina Bay, yeah. Another street circuit, back-to-back street circuits. And I'll be honest, it wasn't that spectacular.
No.
We'll start with qualifying because
Yes. Can I actually give some information before we start this?
Yes.
So, I have not watched quali or the race. I just got back from Italy last night. So it's been lovely. I've been doing lots of motorsporty things. I went to see the V-Carb factory from the outside. I went to Imola. I went to Maranello. There was even a rally event when I went to San Marino. So it's like I've been very much engrossed in motorsport, and none of it was current F1. So I completely missed quali while I was running around San Marino, and then I've listened to like the last half of the race on Radio 5 Live. Shout out to Radio 5 Live. And I've watched the highlights on YouTube. So
well,
I will be taking a backseat on the explaining what actually happened.
well, the thing is, through both things, the highlights weren't very long. So qualifying, for example, I don't recall anybody being majorly out of place.
Yeah.
Except Williams, who both got disqualified.
Yeah. I saw that. I was saddened.
Well, I'm sure I had this written down somewhere, but it was the.
It was like the rear wing or something.
Yeah, it was the slot gap in the rear wing, which I think is in the DRS or something like that, and they were out of spec, so they both got disqualified. So they were both in the pit lane. No, actually, Sainz took the grid in P18 and Albon started in the pit lane. Aside from that,
you also had Gasly in the pit lane as well.
Yes, he had I think it was a hydraulic failure during qualifying, I think it was. Something like that. And I think he was a pit lane starter as well. But other than that, there wasn't really anything to talk about. Obviously, Russell was on pole, which I don't think Mercedes have had that many poles this year. I should really look this stuff up before we go live. But yeah, Mercedes as a whole haven't been up there this year. And then obviously Russell pulled it out of the bag from somewhere, and that's now a lap record around that circuit in this configuration. So yeah, aside from that, there was not really much to talk about in qualifying. The race...
Qualifying certainly happened.
Yes, it certainly did.
It certainly occurred.
The only real talking point that I can think of off the top of my head from the race, well, there's a couple of points, but
There's a few.
Yeah, the start was interesting. So obviously you've now seen the highlights, and the talking point from the weekend has been Norris's contact with Piastri.
Yes. And Verstappen.
Yes, but nobody's talking about that. And this is what I was going to bring up. So, from what I've seen of it, is Norris got the better start, which everybody on the, I think it was the left-hand side of the grid, got a better start. And Carl's doing the research for me. Four poles for Russell, 4 poles for Mercedes, all George Russell this year.
I need to get the chat up. I always forget we have a chat.
Yeah, that's the whole point of doing
this live. That would be really helpful, wouldn't it? If I looked at this. See, I always Anyway, you carry on.
Yeah, so Norris got the better start. He got up alongside. He got past. Started in P4.
Basically, you could see he got a much better launch because
he
he was directly behind Piastri, wasn't he?
Yeah, he got past. It was Leclerc, I think. He passed Leclerc on the start line, and then he got up the inside of Piastri through 1 and 2, and then into turn 3 he was still up the inside alongside Piastri, and bumped into the back of Verstappen, and that sent him a little bit wide into Piastri, and it was, from what I saw, it was wheel-to-wheel contact. And it didn't, from the first set of replays, it didn't look like anything. It was just like, it's the concertina effect of going in of the first corner of the first lap of the race, or the third corner in this case. And it's just a little bit of bumping. No damage was done other than to Norris's front wing, which they left for the rest of the race, and that was it. And then obviously we got Piastri being a bit irate on the radio, which you would be.
Yep. As you should when you're in a championship fight.
Yeah.
We like to see passion. Nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. But it wasn't until I watched Piastri's on board that actually it looked like quite a substantial hit. And it looked like quite a firm hit.
Yeah, because watching it, when I watched like the highlights, I knew that they'd made some contact. So I was watching them both really closely at the start, looking out for this contact, and I honestly didn't see it until they started showing the replays.
Yeah.
So it looks quite insignificant when you first... Yeah.
So, obviously, Piastri was complaining a lot. The FIA had a look at it and said no further action. And then the team to Piastri said they were taking no action during the race and they would review it after. So they didn't, obviously, immediately didn't seem to think that anything was immediately wrong. But, obviously Piastri was quite upset about it.
Yeah.
And that was kind of it. It was the weird thing here is, normally what happens is we have the start and everybody sort of spreads themselves out, and then everyone sort of settles into DRS trains. Here, everybody settled down into non-DRS trains. Nobody was within a second of any other driver, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I watched Sky F1, and I watched a little bit of the build-up this time round, and Ant Davidson and George Russell did a cycling of the track, and Russell was talking about the turbulence within the walls of the circuit. Because obviously it's obviously a street circuit, so it's got lots of walls and they're quite high and all the rest of it. As he was saying, as they start to circulate and they start the race, they essentially almost like take the wind with them in the direction that they're travelling, and I wonder if that had something to do with it.
Interesting.
I'm not sure. I'm not that good with aerodynamics, but
I'm not good at all.
But we know how sensitive these cars are just to a light breeze. So if you've got 24 of them, or 20 of them circulating, they're obviously going to move the air around, and that's going to affect the cars. So I wonder if that had something to do with it. It was odd because at one point, even the commentators pointed it out. I think once Norris started to charge towards the back of Verstappen, he was the only one within even remote chance of getting DRS, and everybody else was more than a second away from the car in front.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was kind of weird. And that was kind of it for most of the race. Verstappen was complaining about his downshifts, and they clearly had some sort of issue, but you can't pass in these cars, so Norris couldn't get past him towards the end of the race. Hadjar had some engine issues, and he was losing about 3 to 4 tenths a lap, but the car behind him still couldn't pass him. We had another slow McLaren stop, this time for Piastri.
So, funnily enough, so I'll weigh in here. This was basically the exact moment I tuned in for the race. So Just to set the scene, me and my uncle, we did a lovely track walk of Imola because it was open for free for the day. They did 2 public days in October, and we got one of them. But yeah, we finished up at Imola for the day, and we were like, yep, let's do Maranello. Great. And as we got in the car, it started chucking it down, and I was like, ooh, F1's on right now. Let's see if we can connect up to a radio version of it so we can kind of follow the action. Literally, as we join, we can hear, and it's a slow stop for Piastri, and we both just kind of gasp and look at each other because we have no idea what any of the circumstance leading up to this is. We just know that right now Piastri's having a slow stop and people are freaking out. Yeah. So it was actually quite exciting when we tuned in. We maybe picked one of the only thrilling moments of the event to...
Well, it gets more interesting than that. So obviously, to compound the start of the race where they had contact, this time, at this point in time, Norris is leading Piastri, so he gets preferential treatment on stops. Yeah. McLaren come over the radio to him and say, right, we're scared of the undercut of Leclerc behind Piastri.
Yeah.
Can he stop ahead of first, basically? Which was the question that Norris got asked at Monza, I think it was Monza, where he had the slow stop and then Piastri passed him. This time around, Norris said no and stopped first.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough.
And that's well within his right, but it's interesting to me that this time around he said no.
I think it's because this is the week where they got the Constructors' Championship. They basically just needed to finish, basically.
Yeah, and I think what's going to happen now, and we'll talk about this more when we finish talking about the race, is papaya rules are going to go out the window.
Yeah.
So, there's not much else to talk about through this race, to be honest.
I've got something fun I want to bring up. Obviously, because I couldn't see the action, a lot of it was just hearing the action. So for a lot of my race was listening to radios and stuff. And something that I really enjoyed listening to was Alonso. Just Alonso generally kicking off. Either he was mad at the team or he was mad at the other drivers on the track, but it was incredibly entertaining. I think he made a comment about Isaac Hadjar being like the hero of the day or something like that.
He struggled to pass him at one point. Where is it here? So one of his engineer came on the radio and said 34 to go. And Alonso's reply was, if you speak to me every lap, I will disconnect the radio.
And as our commentators on 5 Live actually pointed out, gone are the days of Alonso being cordial with the team. You know, it's not the happy family they started out as.
No, I have another radio message of his to read out that he gave at the end of the race. But have you? I assume you heard about Hamilton's brake failure towards the end of the race.
Yes.
So I think this was lap 49 or 50 out of 52, so like a lap or two to go, and he was 45 seconds clear of Alonso. But it's a shame because Hamilton was on a charge here. He managed to pass Leclerc, which admittedly the team told him to let him through, obviously, because Hamilton was on softs at this point. And he was hunting down Antonelli for, I think it was 5th place? Yeah, it will have been. Yeah, it would have been 5th place. And he then had brake failure. Now, I don't think it was full, like, the brakes don't work anymore. They just barely worked, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And he managed to nurse it to the end. And what he ended up doing was cutting a lot of corners to minimise the need to slow down. And the response from Alonso was quite Alonso, I would say.
Okay, what did he say?
So obviously he was gaining on Hamilton. He was watching Hamilton cutting all the corners, and obviously he was complaining over the radio to his engineer and his team that Hamilton was cutting corners, it's not safe, and all the rest of it. After the race finished, and I quote, "Oh, effing hell, man! I cannot believe it. I cannot effing believe it. I cannot effing believe it. I mean, I cannot effing believe it. I cannot effing believe it. Is it safe to drive with no brakes? End quote.
You know what? I feel the frustration.
And I believe there was a lot of tactical stuff going on here because Hamilton ended up with a 5-second penalty for track limits.
Yeah.
And the FIA cited there was no justifiable reason for him to cut the track. And I was like, well, he's got brake failure. Like, he wants to get it to the end to score points and all the rest of it. But in the FIA's defence, it's not really safe to cut the corners in the way that he was doing. He was basically straight lining the track everywhere and cutting every corner and getting quite close to the walls and stuff. So I think, yeah, he's probably kind of deserved it. So
yeah.
But that was kind of it for the race. There was nothing really spectacular about it. Obviously, Russell just won from the front. Verstappen closed the gap to Norris and Piastri, but unless, in my opinion at this point, unless Piastri or Norris get any more DNFs, I don't think he's realistically got a chance because he's about 60 or 70 points behind the lead at this point. Because if I remember correctly, I did the math. It's Piastri, then 22 points back to Norris, and then a further 41 to Verstappen. So he's like 63 points off the lead. So as long as Norris and Piastri keep scoring in every race, I don't think he's going to catch them. So yeah. What was interesting from this race was the last 6 years at Singapore, and we didn't have a race in 2021 or 22, I think. But over the last 6 years, we've had 6 different winners.
Wow. So wait, I'm going to try and name those winners. So obviously George Russell.
Yeah.
Last year probably Max Verstappen. Actually no, maybe Lando. It was Lando. Was it Lando?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to say Lando anyway. So Max, Lando, George.
Hang on, I'm going to look it up while you're naming.
Max, Lando, George, probably Lewis at some point in like 2021 or something.
So,
or whenever they had that.
Yeah,
Lewis was probably...
This year was Russell. Yeah, you're right. Last year was Norris.
Yeah, and then Verstappen.
23.
Oh, Sainz.
Yeah, the only non-Red Bull winner of that year.
Yeah, that was an iconic race. That was when he said it's on purpose, and everyone like quaked in his aura.
2022.
It wasn't Hamilton.
No, it wasn't. Different team to the 3 you've named so far.
Yeah, that's why I'm hesitating, because I feel like it's a slight least. Is it Leclerc?
No. We've had a Ferrari win. That was Sainz.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah.
We only got 6 teams to choose from.
What teams am I missing?
It was a Red Bull.
It was a Red Bull. Perez? Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Perez had his street circuit moment, didn't he?
Yeah.
Street circuit era.
Yeah, we didn't have a 20 or 21 race.
Yeah. 2019, I'm going to say Hamilton.
No.
What? Pass.
Vettel.
Vettel?
It's Ferrari.
I knew that one was coming up. I didn't realise it was 2019. Oh, I love Seb. Is that everyone? Have we done them all, or is there one more?
No, there's one more.
Is it Hamilton next?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, there we go.
Yeah, 2018 was Hamilton. So yeah, 6 different winners.
Fantastic group of drivers.
The thing is, if we go further back, it's 7 winners in 8 races, because it's Hamilton in 17 and then Rosberg in 16.
Assume maybe Hamilton again, or Vettel even?
Then Vettel, then Hamilton, then Vettel.
Yeah.
Then Vettel, then Vettel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we...
The Lion of Singapore, Your Honour.
So...
Yeah.
Yeah, that was quite interesting. Now, you won't have seen this from this particular race. There was another point I wanted to look at here, from qualifying. Now, you like I said, you didn't see qualifying. You won't have seen this, but this applies to quite a lot of races. Usually at Austria, when we have yellow flags during qualifying, you get quite a lot of lap times deleted and people setting times and expecting them to be deleted and all this sort of stuff. Do you think the FIA should not let Q... So say we've just done Q1. Do you think the FIA should stop, clear all the deleted laps and the yellow flag infringements and all of that sort of stuff before even starting Q2?
Say that again, but slowly.
So we're coming up to the end of Q1.
Yeah.
Somebody goes off. There's a yellow flag, and maybe they've just locked up and run wide, and they don't need to clear anything up. It's just they've triggered the yellow flags while they do a U-turn or something like that. They rejoin the track, but people are setting fast laps, obviously, because it's qualifying. And quite often you'll see people setting laps but having lap times deleted because they didn't lift through a yellow or something like that, or they've run wide and they get a lap time deleted because they've run wide or something like that.
Yeah.
And quite often you'll see that they're still investigating some of those when we start Q2.
Right.
And I kind of feel like the FIA should stop, clear all of that backlog out before even starting Q2, because sometimes
someone gets robbed of being in
thingy. Exactly that.
Yeah. Agreed. I fully agree.
And
how long is it going to take them, really?
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
It's fairly cut and dry.
Yeah, and it's not very often that they would need to delay it either. And if they
I'm sure
delay,
every
it's
fan
5
or
minutes.
every team or every driver would rather the correct outcome. No one's going to mind waiting 5 minutes to make sure the right group of drivers go through.
Exactly. Like we've seen it before, where
red flags happen all the time, so we know that we can delay sessions.
Oh yeah, we had it Baku, where we had 6 red flags.
Exactly. The world didn't end.
Yeah, exactly. So I think they can just hang on for 5 minutes and just sort it out. It's not difficult. Speaking of yellow flags, this came up. This is the 4th Formula 1 Grand Prix ever to have no yellow flags and no safety cars.
Oh, and that's funny from Singapore.
Yeah, for a street circuit, especially coming out after Baku.
Especially No, I mean more that Singapore for the longest time had that streak of every single race there's been a safety car.
Yeah, I think at one point the odds of a safety car at Singapore was 100%.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was quite interesting as well. So let's talk a little bit about Oscar Piastri, because he seemed, outside of the initial contact with Norris and getting a little annoyed about it, he seemed quite stressed out throughout the entire race. Now, you won't have seen all of this because obviously you've only seen the highlights. Do you think the pressure's starting to get to him with the championship coming, sort of the end of the championship coming to a close?
Potentially. Because, that was twice in a row now that we've started to go, oh heck, is Oscar cracking?
And
it's almost like the reverse story to Norris. Like at the start of the season we saw Norris a bit wobbly and now he's calmed down.
Yeah, and I wonder if this is just getting to Piastri a little bit, because he's been known throughout the entire season and throughout his entire racing career to be chill about basically everything.
Yeah.
To a point where he barely actually wins.
Yeah, he's just a chill guy, Your Honour.
Yeah. And the last 2 races especially have been very uncharacteristic of him. So,
I hope he's alright. Yeah. I hope he's not got anything going on, you know?
I think it's just the pressure of the championship, because now it's now you've got not only has he got his teammate chasing him, he's got Verstappen chasing both of them.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's changed. and it's now a real possibility that neither him or Norris could win. I think it's still an outside chance, as I said earlier, but I kind of feel like it's just getting to him. If he brings it back next race, then yeah, it's just a blip in the system, but
yeah,
it does.
I reckon he can bring it back. I think what we know about Piastri, based on everything we've seen, he is very strong as a driver. Like, he's very steely, and I think he needs to have this little knock to get him back on track, you know? It's like it's like a movie. You can't watch a movie where everything goes perfectly for the protagonist and it all goes absolutely fine, the end. They always have their little stumble right before the glory. And so I'm still backing Piastri to take the championship. The cinema dictates that Piastri has to have a little wobble before it all works out. That's all I'm saying. I like movies.
Yeah, and I wonder if Norris had his wobble at Canada.
Yeah.
Because he hit the wall, he DNF'd, and that was it. And his other DNF was not his own fault. And I kind of feel like that's sort of fired him back up again, and he's as much as his qualifying's not been great, his race results have been pretty good. So, I don't know. Only time will tell. There's 5 more races, I think, for the end of the year. So
sounds about right.
Yeah, it's not over till it's over.
Yeah, I'm still backing Piastri. I think I've been saying this a few times now. But I said Piastri before the season, and I stand on business with that.
My prediction before the start of the year was Norris, and that was based on his performance at the end of last year. Because he had a lot of back-to-back results. He had quite a number of wins at the end of the season, and it did genuinely look like he was going to give a good fight for the championship this year, and by all accounts he has done. It's just, is he going to be able to get it across the line? So
yeah. I mean, I'm honestly, like, I know it's not been the most thrilling of seasons race-wise, but I am really glad we finally got another good championship fight. I feel like we haven't really had a proper contention in a while.
Yeah. Well,
like, obviously we had Norris kind of pipe up at the end of last year, but
I don't think it was a
it was always a little bit of a like an underdog kind of, what's that word for when it's like an off chance, you know what I mean?
It was an outside chance.
An outside chance, that's the one.
But we've got to say congratulations to McLaren for winning the constructors back to back. They now have more constructors titles than Williams. With 10.
That's interesting.
They've got a long way to go to catch up to Ferrari, who are on 16. But what this does mean, and I alluded to this earlier, is the papaya rules that McLaren have been operating under are basically going to go out of the window now.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see a lot more fight from both of them.
Yeah.
Because
I reckon the only reason we see papaya rules come back is if Max gets too close for comfort, and I don't see that happening.
No, I don't. Like I say, unless one of them gets a DNF, Max is not going to pass either of them, because there's too many points to overhaul. I think he only pulled 6 points on Piastri this weekend, and that's not enough with 6 races to go.
Yeah.
So I don't. As long as everybody scores, unless the McLarens are dropping down into the bottom half of the top 10, Verstappen's not going to close the gap, I don't think.
Max Verstappen.
But he is putting pressure on them.
Yes.
So, I think, like I say, now that McLaren have the constructors as they wanted, I do think that papaya rules are going to go out the window and you are free to race full stop. There's no rules.
And that's what we want to see as fans.
And I think they're still going to have a bit of don't hit your teammate because we have to pay for the damage sort of thing in there.
Of course. And it's just a bad look.
I think we're going to see a lot more elbows out and a lot more aggressive moves on each other.
Yeah.
Which I think will be quite interesting. I don't think either of them are going to let it go as far as Hamilton and Rosberg did.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're both too. Neither of them have that personality. I think they're both too relaxed to let it get that far.
Yeah.
But I do think we're
I
going to
think as
see a
well,
lot of
like with
fireworks.
Hamilton and Rosberg, we saw that go on for a lot of years.
They had that through.
Like that was really drawn out. Like this is like right at the beginning. You know, they're both young drivers with the world in their hands. Really, they've got
Yeah,
so
well,
much ahead of them and so many opportunities.
they had 2 years of Hamilton winning the championships. He did 14 and 15. And Rosberg, basically, from what I understand and from what I think Rosberg has said in interviews, is he gave it everything. Like he had to give he had to give a lot of his free time and his personal life to fight Hamilton.
From my knowledge of it, he apparently didn't even sleep in the same room as his wife.
Yeah,
or his
that's
partner
what I mean.
or whatever.
And I think that's
like shaving the paint off the helmet. Like it's like I said,
it to the extreme.
Cinema.
Yeah, and
if each of our podcast episodes had a title, this one would definitely be called Absolute Cinema, just to make everyone know.
Yeah, and I don't think Piastri or Norris are going to take it that far.
No.
So, yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit more explosive towards the end of the season, though, which would be good. We need more excitement in these races.
We do.
Because all we seem to have talked about is DRS trains and not a lot happening. So I'm hoping for something a little bit more interesting. Right, let's move on. I've got a few little news articles we can talk about.
Okay.
At the top of the list, and this is in chronological order.
Chronological order, yeah.
Yeah, in the order they happened since the last time we spoke.
First one, I'm ready for this.
The first one is a good news story because Romain Grosjean drove an F1 car for the first time since his fiery crash.
Yippee! Yippee to him driving the car, not the crash, just to clarify.
Yes. So, Pirelli had a tyre test at Mugello in Italy. And he was, with his old team Haas, he was given the opportunity to drive their car. And it's just a good news story. We all know Toto Wolff said, whatever happens, you are welcome to come and drive a Mercedes. And I think that offer still stood.
Yeah.
But
that was going to be my next question. Do we know what happened there?
I suspect it was just he was given the opportunity to drive with his old team.
Yeah.
And I
reasonable.
I don't blame him at all for going back to them and getting in the car with them. And the other feel-good story here is we already knew he was leaving Haas at the end of the year, and he never got to wear the helmet his kids designed for the last race.
Yeah.
And he wore that for the test.
Oh, tears in my eyes. That's lovely.
Yeah, absolutely feel good story there. Yeah. So I think it was always going to happen. It's just with him racing in IndyCar and stuff like that, he just never got a chance. Clashes and all the rest of it and everything else. So there's not much else to say about that, to be honest. Verstappen has been racing in a GT3 car at the Nürburgring. Now, this has been going on for a little while, and he's had to do it in a way that grants him a license for GT racing, basically. And he won, unsurprisingly, to nobody's surprise. Nobody's surprised he's won, but I think it's the fact that he's gone out and done it at the Nürburgring. And this is not the F1 Nürburgring, this is the Nordschleife, which is the full 13-mile, 150 corner track.
The big boy.
Yeah, the green hell, as I think it was Jackie Stewart.
Yep.
Yep. And I've chatted about this with a few of my friends, and I suspect this is him lining himself up for an endurance racing career after Formula One.
which we love to see. He's a true racer. He really is.
Yeah, and a lot of people do go out and do GT racing. Jenson Button's still doing World Endurance Championship at the moment. Kobayashi's out there. Who else on top of my head? Brendan Hartley's still racing for Toyota. And there's quite a lot.
Nick DeVries, if he counts.
Say?
Nick DeVries, if he counts.
Yeah. Nick DeVries, he was a Formula 1 driver as well. He's out there still, so... And we know Alonso's been and done it while racing for Formula 1. I think he's the only person... I think he might be the only person to win it. No, Hulkenberg did it as well. Won Le Mans while racing in a full season of Formula 1. I could be wrong. There's probably more people that have done it. I know... I don't know whether this is coincidental or not, but Formula 1, since I think Hulkenberg won it, Formula 1 always lands on the same weekend as Le Mans now. And I don't think
that is annoying.
Yeah, I don't think it's a coincidence if I'm putting my tinfoil hat on.
But you know what's fun? With F1 like oversaturating their races, wouldn't it be funny if a driver just goes, I'm gonna go do Le Mans instead? Like, wouldn't that be a really funny,
Alonso did do that. He went to race... He went to race the Indy 500, didn't he? And Jenson Button had to race for him at Monaco. So I wouldn't put it out of the question.
Yeah.
Somebody might do it. But
Max.
Yeah. I think because he's had Red Bull backing to do that. Ironically, he was driving a Ferrari, but I think he's lining himself up for a endurance career post F1.
Right.
That's what I think's going on there.
And I would
what else we got? Pietro Fittipaldi is now Cadillac's development driver.
Oh, I didn't see that. That's cool.
Yeah, so speaking of Haas and their last race in 2020, Pietro Fittipaldi stood in for Romain Grosjean to finish out his season, and he is now their development driver. It very much feels like Fittipaldi is never ever going to get a full-time Formula 1 seat.
Yeah, but it's nice that he's still like knocking around, you know?
Yeah, he's kind of fallen into... Ant Davidson does this now. He's their he's Mercedes development driver, I think, or he was.
That feels old. I feel like he's not anymore, but I think he definitely was for a long time.
Yeah, because he did. I think he did that alongside racing the World Endurance Championship for Toyota. Obviously, he's quite prominent on Sky F1 now, but he was their development driver, or at least their sim driver, for a very long time. But it feels like Fittipaldi's young enough that he could still get a full-time F1 seat, but I don't think he's going to get one anymore. So I think he's going to be in and around the paddock as development driver or reserve driver, and not get an actual seat. Which is unfortunate. Everybody obviously wants to see their favourite driver get... And Fittipaldi will be somebody's favourite driver.
Yeah.
He's just...
Many people.
Yeah, he's just not going to get a seat. And then the last thing that I've got on my list is Alex Dunn and McLaren parting ways. So for people that don't know, Alex Dunn is currently racing in Formula 2, and he was part of McLaren's driver development program, which is essentially their junior driver
academy.
Yeah, academy sort of thing. And they've parted ways. I wonder how much... I don't think anybody's actually stated whether this was mutual, whether it was McLaren, or whether it was Alex Dunn himself.
I think he stated it was mutual. But that's PR, right?
Probably. But some of this, I feel like, at the moment... So put yourself in McLaren's shoes. You've got Norris and Piastri, both fighting for the title at this moment in time. Realistically, regardless of what their contracts are, because we all know that contracts have loopholes and end clauses and early exit clauses and all that.
Yeah.
Are you ever going to replace either of them anytime soon?
Yeah.
And the answer's no.
Well, I heard a rumour. You carry on talking. I'm just going to pull up because someone messaged me. Because obviously, so for those that don't know, I feel like most people listening to this do know, but Alex Dunn was the first young driver that I interviewed. So first of all, go check that out on my channel after you've listened to this. But also because of that, I think a lot of people know I'm interested in the Alex Dunn news. So someone actually dropped me a message and said, like, I heard that he was offered some, like, Drogovic-style roles and deals by McLaren, but nothing was solid enough and actually giving him an F1 seat. So kind of like Piastri at Alpine, he kind of thought, well, if you're not actually going to give me a seat, then what's the point? So he stepped away. And the rumour is that he's looking at a seat with VCarb to possibly... I can't remember whether the rumours were going, but someone said to me that actually the current rumour is that, and this is rumours again, not fact, Tsunoda to Alpine alongside Gasly, which would be a really great pairing to bring back.
I think that would be an odd move, but yes.
It would be a really odd move, but someone's told me this is a rumour. So if it does happen, you heard it here first. So yeah, Tsunoda to Alpine. And I think it was like Lawson or Hadjar up to Red Bull or something. And then whichever one's left, partner's done at RB. I don't know. I just thought I'd share that one and get your opinion on it, or to put it out there into the universe, because you never know. Stranger things have happened.
I'm just looking at the news article here, and it's got the quote from Dunn himself that he released. And the first line is, "From today, I've mutually decided to part ways with the McLaren driver development program."
There it is, mutually.
And I don't know how much of that is real. I suspect it is mutual, because I think, what I personally think is him and McLaren have had a conversation, and McLaren have gone, look, we've got two good drivers, we don't have a junior team like Haas or Williams, or it's a bit unfair to call Williams a junior team, but you know what I mean.
Like a non-front runner.
Yeah, and I think he's turned around to them and said, well, look, I'm not going to get a seat. They've gone, yeah, you're not going to get a seat. I'm going to go and look elsewhere. And they've gone, yeah, okay, fair enough. And I think that's probably the conversation that's happened there, because, like I say, you've got Norris, you've got Piastri, you're not going to replace any of them anytime soon. Unless one of them does something catastrophic. So... yeah.
And at that point, they'd probably be on the phone with him again.
Potentially. He's a free agent as far as we're aware at this point in time. But I think he's going to go and look elsewhere. And he has to now, because he's not in their development program. But I have heard the same rumour of him looking at the Racing Bulls.
I think a lot of people have said the Racing Bulls thing. I think even Helmut Marko was asked about it and said, like, yeah, we're looking at Alex Dunn, obviously, as an option.
The realistic thing is, if you're a team principal for any team on the grid, you are always going to look at every single driver.
Yes.
It doesn't
100%.
matter who they are, you are going to realistically be looking at them. Whether or not that follows through or not is a different matter altogether. It was the same when Max was talked about for the Mercedes seat versus Russell and Antonelli. And realistically, if you're Toto Wolff, you are going to go and talk to Max and see if you can sign him for your team, and then you'll work out what's going on with everybody else later.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how Alpine ended up with 3 drivers again. Not for the first time. So I think that's just fair enough. I think that's Alex looking out for himself.
Yep.
And I also think it's McLaren going, look, we can't offer you what you want. You are free to go and look elsewhere. And I don't think it's ended on bad terms at all. So.
Yeah, I don't think there's any... Yeah, exactly. I don't think there's any bad blood at all. It doesn't sound like there's any reason for things to have gone a bit south, you know. Yeah. Alex has been performing. McLaren, obviously, kind of have their hands a bit tied at the minute with 2 exceptional drivers.
Yeah, I agree. So, Yeah, that's all I've got for the news this week. The next race is United States. So this will be the... is this the third? No, we've got Las Vegas after this, haven't we? This isn't even the last United... Yeah. So this is the second of 3 races in the United States. We are at COTA, which is the Circuit of the Americas.
I do love COTA.
Yeah, it is usually a good race, but I've said that about a lot of tracks this year, and they've all been stinkers. So
we'll let you down.
Yeah, if I don't get my hopes up, I can't have them let down. So
depressing but true.
Yeah, unfortunately. That race is, what are we, 17th to the 19th of October. So what's that? 2
weeks, I think. No, it's the 7th.
It's the 7th currently.
It's in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah. So we'll be back.
Yeah.
We'll be back to talk about that in 2 weeks' time.
And we will see you there.
Yes, and hopefully you'll have seen the race this time.
Yeah. I don't think I have anywhere... Oh, actually, I do have places to be. Hang on.
Places to be, people to see.
Yeah. Let me see when I... Yep. Okay, no, I'm good.
It's all right. Formula One are pretty good with putting the highlights out pretty quickly, so either way you'll be able to see the highlights and get caught up, and then we'll have a good natter about the race again. Right. That's, like I said, that's all we've got. We will catch you in 2 weeks' time.
Thank you for watching our podcast. You didn't actually watch, you just listened. We talked about F1. And that was all, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I did end it.